Hello everyone, this is TT here, your coach at the Fire Crown Dallas, and today we're facing off against Ral, coach of the Columbus Combuskens. They have a team of Tapu, Koko, Landorus Therian, Kartana, Iron Moth, Rotom, Wash, Hydreigon, Girder, Swalot, Illumise, and Berserker. And you can see their team is quite top-heavy. So I expect them to bring Koko, Lando, Cart, Moth, Wash, and Hydreigon. As that makes the most sense. Leading off the squad for week 2 is going to be Palafin Hero once again. This time with protective pads with 12 HP, max attack, and 244 speed with the Jolly Nature to let us outspeed Hydreigon unless it's Scarf. With Flip Turn, Jet Punch, Drain Punch, and Bulk Up. Flip Turn is the reason I'm running protective pad this week, because I expect my opponent to run something like a Rocky Helmet Rotom Wash to deal with low kicks. And Palafin, once threats like Koko and Moth and Hydreigon are gone, can easily set up and take them out, especially if Cart. If Cart's burned or gone as well, Palafin can do work this game. Next up, threatening the big KOs is low kicks with heavy boots. Tinted Lens with 4 HP, max attack, 4 defense, and 248 speed to outspeed Lando Jolly Nature to outspeed non-Scarf Lando T. With First Impression, U-Turn, Knockoff, and Sucker Punch. Basically bringing the same set this time, because both priorities do great here. First Impression helps against Hydreigon and his other threats to resist it. U-Turn is just good momentum. Knockoff to get rid of his items. You know, the usual. Next up is my Heavy Duty Boots Talonflame, which will be my main check to Kartana. With Flame Body, with max HP, 4 attack, and max defense with the Impish Nature. Rocking Flare Blitz, U-Turn, Defog to get rid of hazards. So that way we don't get overwhelmed by hazard stack, and finally Roost. Now goes Scream Tail, we can check Hydreigon, which is here for Hydreigon and Moth, mainly Iron Moth, with the Kibia Berry to eat a boosted Sludge Wave with max HP, 4 special attack, and max special defense with the Calm Nature. Running Psyshock to hit Moth which hits for the opponent's defense. Wish to help Wish pass around to my team. Stealth Rock to set up her own rocks to chip down his threats for stuff like low kicks and Palafin. And finally Thunder Wave to be all out annoying, because while Koko, Wash, and Lando can absorb T-Waves, neither Cart or Hydreigon, or Moth want to be on the opposite end of a Thunder Wave. Next up, to help also boost my special defense against stuff like Koko and be another check to stuff like Koko, Moth, Dragon, is Boot Slacklazar with Regenerator with 80 HP, max special defense, and 168 speed to allow us to outspeed Iron Moth by 1 point with the Jolly Nature. Running Knockoff to get Revives, Rapid Spin to remove hazards. Another way to remove hazards, U-Turn for momentum, and Ice Spinner to get rid of Electric to Rain and to hit Landorus Therian. And finally we have Mega Magnectric making its first debut. Before it Mega Evolves, we were rocking Lightning Rod to eat up any potential Thunderbolts Koko may throw our way. And after Mega Evolving, it will gain Intimidate. With 30 HP, 38 defense, max special attack, and 218 speed to to determine nature to outspeed Koko. Running Rising Voltage to let Mega Manectric hit harder in electric terrain, because in electric terrain, and use Koko's own terrain against it, because in electric terrain, Rising Voltage goes from 70 base power to 140. Volt Switch to switch around for momentum. Hyper Voice is a way to hit Hydreigon. And finally, mainly Hydreigon, and then Flamethrower to hit Kartana and other things that not named Hydreigon. And that's our team for BDL Week 2. So let's get into the match. My lead here is going to be Palafin. I'm going to lead Manectric on expecting him to lead Koko, and if he doesn't have Koko for some reason, it'll either lead Manectric or Palafin, depending on I'll likely Manectric here this week to counter the Koko right off the bat. So let's get into the battle. So as we can see, my opponent brought an interesting team this time. Koko's not here. Instead they have Landorus, Kartana, Rotom Wash, Iron Moth, Hydreigon, and Swallow. Almost everything I expected, with the one exception of the Koko being replaced by Swallow. Interesting choice for my opponent, really. So since Koko's not here, I'm actually going to lead Palafin, expecting them to lead Landorus. Therian. So I'm like, okay, no tough out. So I lead Palafin, they lead Lando, they hard switch into Rotom. I flip turn, expecting them to not stay in, obviously, because why would you stay in on Palafin? And I also checked the calcs, and even if they are Scarf Lando, Palafin and Bayfin still survives an EQ, Choice Scarf EQ, so they could never kill Palafin here. So it was just a better play. So I flip turn, and here comes Rotom. I don't know what his item is yet, and then I go Scream Tail because the easiest thing to go into. And I see that they're lefties. I set up Rocks. They Volt Switch out with Rotom, and then go Kartana. I then immediately go Talonflame as expect them to attack as they go back into Rotom Wash. I then go up into Cyclizar to reserve Screen Tail health as a Will-O-Wisp. They go with Swallow. I go for Knockoff because it hits everything except for Swallow, who is Sticky Hold and Black Sludge. I then U-turn here to get momentum. I go straight into Palafin as the worst. It can't do anything to me. Has no grass or electric moves. They knock off my protective pad, but that doesn't matter because Rotom is not. So the only way it matters of Lando is Helmet, which I know it's not, which it shouldn't, which I doubt it is. So he brings in Rotom as I bulk up. So I flip turn here to keep momentum. I go straight into Cyclizar as a try to Willow again, but miss. I then go for U-turn, I believe, here. Or did I go for Knockoff again? One of the two. I went for Knockoff again. A different switch, but they again went Swallow. And then U-turn again. I go back into Palafin. They knock off. I bulk up here as I go back into Rotom Wash again. Rocks helping me chip down their team. I flip turn on the Rotom again. I go back into Cyclizar. Eats the Volt Switch. He goes into Lando. I then knock off Lando to check his item, and it turns out to be Assault Vest Landorus. U-turns out on my Cyclizar. He goes Kartana. And then I go straight into Talonflame again. And he hits me this time, goes for Leaf Blade, 4x resisted, and he gets burned turn 1, revealing that Kartana is not protected pads. I U-turn here. And I go into Manectric finally. I then Mega Evolve and Hyper Volt Switch. Killing the Rotom and first kill for your Fire Crown Dallas. I then go into Cyclizar because it can eat most hits. I expect him to go for a Dragon move on Hydreigon, so I go straight to Scream Tail to eat it, but he actually U-turns and goes Moth. I'm like, okay, I do, and Arm Off comes in, activates Booster Energy, or a special attack. I'm like, okay, this is the ideal situation. Now Scream Tail, I go for Psyshock here. They go for Sludge Wave. I eat it with a berry. I Psyshock, awesome. And now I Psyshock again in case they try anything. In case they try to switch out. And they go Hydreigon. Then they Sludge Wave again, kill Scream Tail. I'm like, okay. Now I go to Manectric because nothing outspeeds it. I go for Higher Voice, expecting Lando to come in this time. And they do indeed go Lando, does 30. And then switch out to not get hit by an EQ and go Cyclizar. But they actually go for Explosion and kill Cyclizar. So that brings down Lando and Cyclizar. Good trade for me, in my opinion. They go Kartana as I go Mega Manectric. They go... Kartana reveals a Scarf and goes for Defog. As I go for Hyper Voice, expecting them to switch. And then they go Swallow as I Volt Switch out, does 39. I then go into Talonflame because it's the least useful member of my team now since card is burned. And the only thing that can get burned is this Swallow or U-turning Hydreigon. But even if Hydreigon gets burned, I expect it to be a special set, so it's not going to matter too much, except for more residual damage. Okay, I'll Flare Blitz. I Flare Blitz. That does 24. They Pain Split on me. I'm just like, okay, I'll just keep spamming Flare Blitz. I have no reason not to. Like, again, Talonflame is the least useful member here. If I get a burn on Swallow, awesome. So I go for Roost here. I get them to try to attack me to break this Stall Fest, but they don't. They still go for Pain Split again. And I U-turn now. Be like, okay, I'm not going to do this forever. So I then go back into Palafin as they Pain Split one last time. I then go for Bulk Up here. As I stay in and go for EQ. I'm like, okay, I Jet Punch here because they're going to try to switch. But I stay in and EQ again. I'm like, okay, I just keep going for Jet Punch in case you try to go switch. I'm like, okay, now he's not going to do it anymore. So then he goes for that. I Jet Punch again. Then down goes Swallow. He brings in Hydreigon, but I believe... So I'm like, okay, I'm going to check if he's Scarf now, because this is how I'll figure out. I'm like, okay, I'm going to go for Drain Punch here, and see if he's Scarf. And it could also U-turn, expecting me to switch out. So there's no reason for me to not go for Drain. If he goes for U-turn, expecting me to, if he goes for U-turn, outspeeds, I know that he's Scarf. If I go for him, I Drain Punch, get my health back, and kill it. And then Palafin just wins from there, basically. So it's like, what's it gonna be, bud? So I'm like, okay, I just go for Drain Punch. Hydreigon is indeed Scarf. Goes for Dark Pulse, kills Palafin. And then bring in Low Kicks, and I go for a U-turn here. I don't go for First Impression because I expect them to try to sack Kartana or Moth to First Impression, then bring Hydreigon back in to threaten me. This is Scarfin will outspeed Mega Manectric. So like a U-turn is the safest play here. It'll kill Hydreigon, it'll kill Cart, it'll kill Moth. They try to sack it. So I go for U-turn as they indeed go to Cart to sack it as it's burned. I then go into Talonflame because no matter they go to Moth or Hydreigon, doesn't matter. Talonflame is the least useful member of my team left. So I'm like, okay, I'll just go for U-turn here. Hydreigon goes for Dark Pulse, it's 56. I U-turn the Talonflame. I go in low kicks, and then I U-turn again, expecting to sack Moth, but they don't. They stay in Dark Pulse. Hydreigon goes down, and I go back into Mega Manectric, and then Mega Manectric finishes off Iron Moth with a Volt Switch. So GG, well played, Ral. You played very well, and I hope to see you in playoffs, my man. Also, for a little disclaimer here, in the BDL we get every coach gets a bye week throughout the season. So after this week we'll be having a bye because we have a week 3 bye, so there will be no week 3 battle. But better believe I'll be back week 4 with the battle there. So, but don't lose heart, because Sunday will be the quarterfinals of the RQA. So for all you who've been following my RQA journey, I'm sure you're all excited for that. But yeah, GG's Ral, and I'll see you all Sunday for the RQA quarterfinals versus Julia. Love you all, and hope to see you next time. Remember to like, comment, subscribe.